Good evening. Welcome to our first ever virtual benefit for Back in His Arms Again. We're so happy that you joined us. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I want to explain a little bit how tonight's program is going to work. We are going to start out with our board of directors giving a little introduction. Then we will go into some words that I would like to share. And then Amy Tatz, our president, has a few things she would like to share. We will have a family testimonial, and then we're going to go live. So please stick around and join us. I know it's a little bit different this year with COVID. We don't have a yummy plate of food or a great glass of wine. So I encourage you to, grab a snack. If you'd like a glass of wine, pour yourself one and join us. We're going to make this brief, yet hopefully informative. And we appreciate all of your love and support that you have given us throughout this very difficult year that we've been able to continue to support our families of loss. So let's get started.
Hi, I'm Amy Tatz. I go to St. John Newman Parish, and I have been with this ministry for 8 years now.
I am Father Homer Blubaugh, retired priest of the Diocese of Columbus. I'm one of the founding members of the Back in His Arms, and we are here to serve all who need us in the back of the armed services. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kathleen Lutter, and I've known Canberra for about 30 years now. I've been actively involved in Back in His Arms Again ministry for about 7 years now, since 2013, and I act as the medical director and liaison.
Hi, I'm Ginger West. I'm at St. Patrick's Parish, and I've been on the board of Back in His Arms Again for 10 years.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ryan. I'm with St. Catherine Parish, and I've been with the ministry for over 2 years.
Welcome to our 2021 annual virtual benefit. My name is Camber Malone. I'm the founder and executive director of Back in His Arms Again. Thank you so much for joining us from your homes this evening. It's a little bit different than what we've done before, but we are so happy that you joined us. I'd like to thank our board of directors for introducing themselves this evening. They are such a valuable resource for us. Each one of them contribute in such a special way to our ministry, and I would just like to personally thank them at this moment for all they do. A little background of how we started Back in His Arms Again, if you're not familiar with us. We lost our son 16 years ago, Gabriel Francis, and when we went to the hospital, nobody really knew how to help us. Our request was for just a very simple, dignified burial, and it seems as though we fell through every crack. There weren't resources readily available to us, and it really made our grieving process so much worse. So we really set out to form a program that we could help other families, not only in our area, but beyond, on how to deal with the loss of a child. Since most families have never dealt with that before, they're usually young families. They've never been in charge of burying someone. They've never felt that personal loss themselves. We really wanted to put together a comprehensive program of resources, educational, spiritual, emotional, and also financial resources to families in need. I am very proud to say that in 16 years, we've never turned a family away. We've always been able to carefully identify their needs and serve them in the best way possible. We are really hopeful that with tonight's benefit, we'll be able to continue our work serving as many families as possible. Something that I really did want to talk about was our growth. We have grown from nearly 5 to 10 families a month to 30 to 40 families a month to 60 to 70 families a month. And we've talked about this in years past. We now serve over 100 families a month consistently. We have seen an increase, however, since COVID. I know Amy's going to talk about that later. It's hard to really say if that's just because our awareness has grown or if it is because of COVID right now that we're all dealing with. So I'd really like to extend my personal thank you to all of our donors that have helped us throughout this year. You have been incredibly generous. You have helped us serve our families. And we are very hopeful this evening that those of you who have not been able to donate as of yet this year, or if you'd like to donate again, or if you are just waiting for our event to roll around, we're hopeful that you might be able to help us out. I would like to again remind you that after I speak, I'm going to have my dear friend Amy, our president of Back in His Arms again, talk to you all. And then we're going to go live from my house. We appreciate your patience with us as we're learning how to do this. And again, I thank you. God bless you. And I'll look forward to seeing you live.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be talking to you and giving you an update on our ministry, and very disappointed it's not in person. We miss seeing everyone and getting to catch up and share a drink and some food with you while we give our presentation. But I'm very glad you decided to tune in to our live event because, anything is better than nothing. So can I just start by saying, wow, what a year. And I think every single person could agree with that sentiment. For some people, it's been good. For some people, it has been awful. So for our ministry, it's really hard to say where our changes have come from. Some of the changes certainly have come from COVID. Some of the increase in calls is from word of mouth. So it's hard to give an exact answer as to what the increases or even possibly decreases have been due to COVID-19. But one thing we do know is more and more people are financially hurting, and that definitely has an impact on what we need to do. So, and we are entering our 16th year already, and can you imagine how we managed to stay relevant, how Canberra managed really for the first 8 years until I joined, and she keeps everything going so well with these families. But how we stay relevant is because we are so unique and specific. There are lots of organizations for a lot of things close to this. There's lots of pro-life support groups. There's lots of grief groups and counseling support groups, but there is not much help to get your children buried. And it's not a natural thing for people to have to know how to do. I hear that a lot on the phone with families. They will say over and over, I just don't know how to do this. What am I supposed to do? And I always have to say, look, you're not supposed to know how. It's not a normal thing. And that's why we're going to help walk you through it. And we take them through the steps. These are the decisions that you need to make today. These are the decisions that can wait. So it's always been an honor to be able to work with these families and help them through the most traumatic days of their life, possibly. So one thing that changed with COVID was how we deliver our wonderful items from Newborns in Need. For about the first half of 2020, we couldn't donate them to the hospitals. They weren't accepting any donations. So if someone needed something, off in the car we go, drop it on someone's porch to make sure that we wanted to make sure everyone had what they needed. And so no matter what we needed to do, we fought our hardest to make sure that the families had what they needed so that that wasn't something they had to worry about when they're losing their child. The only other big impact we have seen from COVID has been a decrease in donations and grant money. And so we're very thankful that we have still been in a position to help the families and to be able to provide as much as we have. And that's been great, but we really are finding ourselves stretching a little more than we would like to. And so we're hoping that this fundraiser can kind of bump us up a little bit more like it does every year. We truly could not exist the way we do today if we do not have those generous donors and the grants. It just would not be possible to do what we do. So the other thing, how are we still relevant, is because the maternal and infant mortality rates in Ohio, especially Central Ohio, are so high. So at least one infant in Franklin County dies every week. So that's up until they are 1 year old. Now, we all know the general statistic on a miscarriage, at least 1 in 4 babies, 1 in 4 pregnancies ends in a miscarriage. And that's also an alarming number. Ohio is ranking among the top in states of our infant mortality and our maternal mortality. And that's the sad reason why we are still relevant, because we are fighting on the front lines of this battle. And while we are seeing improvement, it's still an issue in our society that we're dealing with, as well as people are finally, learning, hey, you have options. A lot of people always say, I wish I'd known, or I didn't know I could bury my baby that I miscarried. The hospital didn't tell me, the doctor didn't tell me. So it's good in that sense that, we are still as busy as we are, because at least 50% is because people know who we are now, and we're getting to help people that maybe normally wouldn't have received help or wouldn't have been able to bury their baby. So it is truly such a blessing that we've been able to provide all the things that we have for our ministry. And this year has been off to a bit of a brutal start for us. We've had a lot of families in January, December, which is also pretty typical for us. But this year has been, I think, even crazier. So we know the numbers are going up. We know the number of people that will need assistance is going up as more and more people are unemployed and getting stretched. So if you please keep our ministry and our families in your prayers as we continue our work into our 16th year. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I really hope that we'll be able to see you again in person later this year. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melissa Longenecker. Please forgive me. This is not easy for me. I'm not a selfie kind of person. So just bear with me. But I became a lost mom December of 2019. Jackson was 36 weeks along. This is his Molly Bear. It weighs exactly 6 pounds, 8 ounces like he did. And this is the blanket he was wrapped in the hospital. And I had been in the hospital the Friday before he was born. And I woke up that morning saying he's not moving the normal amount. And they did a non-stress test and he passed that. And they went to release me and I begged for an ultrasound. So they did a ultrasound and they said he's fine. I went home and then all weekend I worried, but I was like, they told me he was fine. So Monday morning then I woke up and he just wasn't moving. So I had a non-stress test scheduled for the morning. I went to my test. I feared for the worst, but hoped for the best. And she couldn't find a heartbeat. So they moved me into the ultrasound room where my worst fears were confirmed. And I was told, I'm so sorry, but your baby doesn't have a heartbeat. And after that, I really don't remember much. I just was in complete shock. And I just kept thinking they are wrong. But I was told he had a true knot and his cord was wrapped around his neck. And I was walked up to labor and delivery. And in the wee hours of the morning, Christmas Eve, Jackson came silently into this world without a sound. And he looked absolutely perfect. He was beautiful in every way. And here's a picture of him. That's my little Jackson. And we went from planning on spending our life with Jackson to having to say hello and goodbye in one breath. And it was the hardest time of my entire life. And we had a plan for his little funeral, and I didn't have a lot of extra money, and I wasn't sure how we were going to pay it. And I called Back in Your Arms again, and Amy walked me through the process and even helped me find a place to bury Jackson at. And they helped us financially, and Amy was such a great support. And I'm so thankful for your organization, all the help you do for all the lost families out there. And I wish no mom ever had to go through loss, but I'm so glad an organization like this exists and you're able to help parents on the worst days of their life. And I'm just thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you've done for our family and especially for Jackson. Thank you so much.